Good morning, everybody. It's Jeff Eichen here with a new book that I have in my incredible library. Good morning, everybody. It's Jeff Eichen here with a new book that I have in my incredible library. Good morning, everybody. It's Jeff Eichen here with a new book that I have in my incredible library. So that was weird, but so we're back here. Before the Big Bang, I'm going to read this book to you today. A page that I just jumped into, and it says here that from one of the world's most renowned cosmologists, before the Big Bang offers an insight into the Big Bang and beyond, it is into the majestic world of quantum multiverse. A tale that Laura Mersini Houden's journey of discovery, interlaced with her personal stories of growing up in a communist Albania and breaking free of the confines, makes for fascinating reading. So somebody from the communist land has been having insight about the Big Bang, everybody. So I've got it there, and I've got it. Let's see if I can do it. And I've got it right there. So I turned to page 97, and it says here, after a brief pause, I told the exam committee that I was sorry, but I couldn't remember. Then I burst into laughing and ran out from the room while the committee members shouted after me, "Do you think this is funny? You failed. You didn't even know when the leader of the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin, died. Outside, some of my professors had heard the noise and asked what happened. They entered, spoke to the committee, returned, and told me, the committee has no doubt that of course you knew the answer, but exams can be hard psychologically. They recognize that you just had a temporary blank, and therefore they have decided to pass you. I learned later that my professors had pressured and bargained with the history committee not to fail me, openly hinting that if any of the committee members' relatives took math or physics class, my professors would go easy on them. Much of the same happened when with my PE class. I still hear my PE teacher screaming at me when we were learning how to throw toy grenades, and I threw mine right at my feet. If this were real grenade, it would have blown yourself up, all of us into bits. We would have all been killed. Thanks to you again, my wonderful math and physics professors. A little chat with the PE teacher, and I passed. But the experience has made me inherently suspicious of the party line and any party line. It was just that we were forced to learn. It was also that we kept firm, that what was kept from us. The government felt threatened and could not allow people to peek beyond Albania's borders and the wider world through books, television, and travel. Yet, via homemade antennas and other methods, some Albanians found ways to break those barriers. Given those experiences, I found it hard to understand the argument that scientists could never explore the moment of creation, of what came before it. I couldn't accept this, so as a young scientist, not much older than Everett had been when he decided to buck convention, I chose to explore the confounding world of possibilities were opening up for me. By the second half of the 20th century, the two great pillars of the modern physics, quantum mechanics and general relativity, had been chased into their current forms. And then it's not chased, it's chiseled into their current forms. Their establishment in turn led to considerable advances in the practice of physics and had been around for only several decades, but which was poised to revolutionize the world of physics. Particle physics studied and the creation of interactions of subatomic species known as elementary practical particles in the universe. Nestled in the theory of the universe, a series of quantum forces and their particles populate the universe. I'm enjoying it now. We're into quantum. Throughout the 70s and the 80s, particle physics seemed poised to unify the quantum forces into one theory. The spectacular strides in the particle physics culminated in the unification of three quantum forces into models of grand unified theory, not a small feat. The unification of forces under one umbrella theory makes use of the fact that the strength of forces determined by imperial constants known as coupling constants is not really constant, rather they change, or in physics terms, run. With energy, their unification run with energy. Their unification happens because some energy scale, in this case only about 10,000 times less than energy of the Big Bang, the forces become roughly of equal strength and thus indistinguishable from another. The three unified forces out of four exist in our universe are Maxwell's electromagnetic forces, which describes the light and the electromagnetic interactions. The weak force, which is responsible for particle and radioactive decay, and the strong nuclear force, which binds the quarks between together to make protons and neutrons and atomic nuclei. The unification of the fourth known force is gravitational force, which is the other three were final barriers between science and discovery of mega theory and how hard it could be. Each force is achieved by scattering its retrospective bonus patterns, which is integral with a integral spin to transfer quanta of energy obeys the extra-statistical rules. For example, we can think of gravitational force as an exchange of gravitations and the electromagnetic force as the exchange of photons, the strong nuclear force as an exchange of gluons, and so on. In contrast, half-spin particles are called fermions, and they obey different statistical rules. So it couldn't be hard for the brightest minds, Hawking's, who along with many others spent a good deal of their life working towards the theory of everything, had predicted that it would be discovered before the year 2000. But yet again, nature refused to cooperate and reveal the theory of everything. Quantum theory of Einstein's theory of relativity still could not be unified and remained locked in the same battle of dueling answers for working the universe that had raged since their respective discoveries. So theoretical scientists have done for years. They went back to the mental drawing board and began envisioning not a bigger world, an even smaller one. The result, called string theory, that was developed as a number of prominent physicists over several decades in the second half of the 20th century. In the simplest terms, the string theory produces a world to one-dimensional objects, replacing point-like particles which extend one-dimensional strings. There are two possible kinds of strings: open strings, where the two ends are free, and closed strings, where the two ends come together in a loop. They are too small to be observed, but the strings theories argue the strings are essential building blocks of the universe. They are what ultimately made all of the elementary particles in the universe, and they are threads from which the very fabric of space and time is woven. Going. String theory was intended to be the elusive theory of everything. That connected the three quantum forces to the fourth, gravitational force. But in the string theory, achieving unification of focus is mathematically constant, with the possibility only if the world is enlarged by introducing additional spatial dimension to the universe. String theories are postulated that, much the same way that the vibrations made by instruments, strings give rise to musical notes, and the vibrations of any tiny string filaments that give rise to different particles. Each elementary particle was determined by the subtle intonations of its underlying closed strings. Thus, every particle had been discovered, could be reconceptualized in a note in nature's grand symphony. So there's a dance, everybody, and I have, let's see if I can get this, a little, there's a, it's not going to work here. Let's see if I can get this photograph up here for you all. This is a cool photo. Okay, I'm going to bookmark this. So we're into string theory right now, and that turns me on, string theory. So I'm going to send this photo over, and I'm going to send this photo over here. And while we're waiting, it's very interesting to get back into quantum. It takes me out of the other stuff that I've been dealing with, doing my shows and everything. So I'm going to have a show at the Wooden Boat Festival soon, but today is about string theory. So let's go and see if we can. See if we can get you a photograph, everybody. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so we're going to go back here, and we are bringing in this beautiful photograph here. Let's see if we can do this. Time keeps on slipping into the future. We're gonna try like an eagle. Okay, so we're gonna go here. And we're gonna go boom. And we're gonna go open. Here we come, everybody. This is worth the wait. Okay. So string theory. Screen capture that. Think about it. It's string theory. Let me make it a little bit smaller so you can get everything. 11 dimensions. So it's pretty cool. String theory, and that's all I got. Is everybody into quantum and all the quantum scientists that load the planet? So many people are leaving the planet right now by choice, by not choice, by time, by age, and it's time to not figure everything out. But these quantum theorists, it sounds like a couple times I read that they were trying to figure out the answer to everything. So it's at 42, you know. So love you, everybody. It's Jeff Eichen here. String theory has been spoken this morning, and you can find my blogs on IcanImagine.com, and my blogs here /blog, and I'll try to post this one later today. And peace in the Middle East. Love you all. Peace out. Back to getting the Wooden Boat Festival ready. So you'll have some videos from that. And don't forget Birch Smith. The incredible trip to Peru is in October, and we have, I think, 2 spaces available. It's going to be beautiful. Bucket list. So bring you and your sweetie and come be with me and Birch Smith Lyons. She's an incredible spiritualist. Peace out, everybody. And welcome home, Stash Wagner. Tomorrow on We'd Say.